The primary arms, ACSS Griffin. Let's check it out. Primary Arms is producing some of the best medium price optics on the market, and then when you add in their ACSS reticle, it really puts it at the top. The ACSS reticle is my favorite reticle hands down. I mean, you can do range estimation, it has bullet drop, you have wind holdovers, you also have leads, and all that is done right on the reticle. No messing around with the turrets, not having to work up your dope. You can do it right there in the reticle. It's etched, so even if the electronics fail, which this is an illuminated reticle, you still have a way to get on target. These are great scopes from up close and personal at 1x all the way out to 600-700 yards. Now, this is the 1:8 Griffin, and the Griffin is based on mil-dot. If you like mil-dot, this is going to be a great scope for you. If you don't know anything about mil-dot, this scope still is easy to use. This is the 1:8, but they also make a 1:6. There's a couple of times that I will refer in the video to the 1:6, but the scope that I'm using and demonstrating is a 1:8. Now we have it on a magazine stand, so there's no magazine. Let's check to make sure the chamber's empty, and it is. The scope is 10 3/4 inches long. It weighs about 15.5 ounces. It does come with the flip-up covers, and it has kind of a rubber sleeve over it. Has the quick focus eye ring, which makes it nice, and the older I get, the more I need this. We have our adjustment ring for magnification. It's really smooth, and yet it's not too easy to turn to where you can knock this off adjustment. They do offer a lever that you can attach to this to make it a lot quicker, that'll extend it out if you want that extension. Now I'm using one of the American Defense QD mounts. I really like those. It is a 30mm tube. It's 6065 T6 aluminum, and it has the hard anodized finish, which is, typical for most of your different scopes. Your turrets are low, and one of the things about that is you don't really need to do much adjustment because you have all the range capability in the reticle. So we can take these off, and of course this will be used to sight in your rifle. Now these are half MOA clicks. They're tactile and they're audible. And if you'll notice, the windage turret has a spare battery, and these are 2032 batteries, which are very common, and I get those off eBay. For our illumination turret, we have 11 settings and off, and it's tactile, feels good. This is where your battery is stored, right here under this cap. And again, it is the 2032 battery. And the Griffin is part of the ACSS family, which stands for Advanced Combat Sighting System. This is a second focal plane scope, and that means the magnification is in front of the reticle. So the reticle will stay the same size whether you're on 1 or all the way out to 6. If you take a first focal plane scope, which the reticle is past the magnification, when you dial up the ring, the reticle gets bigger out to distance. So at 6 power you can have a very large reticle. If you bring it into 1, it's going to be a very small reticle. And there's a lot about first and focal plane, the advantages, but typically first focal plane is much more expensive because of the way that the mechanisms are set up. And really, if you're going to get way out to distance, you have a larger reticle to be able to get a little better pinpoint accuracy. But the downside is the reticle's large. And so, that is just one of the things about first focal plane. Now this is a diagram of the reticle. You have your chevron, which I love the chevron because at the tip you have an infinity point. You can set that on your target. It's not a dot. It doesn't cover up your target. You can put that pinpoint right on where you're wanting to fire for shot placement. I love that. Plus it does draw the eye right to the chevron. Now to range the scope, you start out at 100 yards with the chevron tip. Right at the joint of the chevron is 200 yards. The top of the bullet drop compensation line is 300, and then you have down below is 4, 5, and 600 yards. Now once you sight in your scope to the caliber you're using, then you can use this for any of these calibers, whether it's 5.56, 5.45, 308, or 6.5 Grendel. So this is a very versatile scope. At 100 yards, you're dead on at 0. For 308, it's a 1/2 inch high at 100 yards. And then for the 6.5 Grendel, it's 0.75 inches at 100 yards high. And then this will allow for the bullet drop compensator to take effect for all of these calibers. Now 18 inches is the average shoulder to shoulder width of a man. So at 300 yards, at the bottom of the chevron, that is 18 inches. So at the bottom of the chevron, that represents 18 inches at 300 yards. So you can line that up on your target. Then you know the distance. At 400 yards, that represents 18 inches, 500, and 600. This allows you to calculate the distance of your target. Here we have the moving target leads from right to left, and this is again a man running with a rifle is 8.6 miles per hour. To calculate the mil dots, you have 0 at the tip, and the first wind holdover is 1 mil, 2 mils, 3 mils, 4 mils, and then 5 mils when you have the moving target lead. And then with the bullet drop compensator, of course, that first line is 1 mil, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. So even if you understand mil dot or not, you can use this scope effectively. Right, we're at 1x. We're going to bring it on in just to give you kind of an idea. This is magnified in the camera, so it's going to be a little bit big, but you can see the leads on either side, right to left. You have your windage coming down in a pyramid, and then of course your bullet drop, and then we have the chevron. Now one thing, I usually shoot this way in bright sunlight. We're going to go straight to 11, and you can see it is really bright. Now this camera is going to pick it up a little different than you're going to see it. It's going to be a little more red, but when we bring it down to 10, definitely tones it down to the natural color, and that's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Now it's twilight or evening, it's not yet dark, so this light will show up a lot better. There we go at 11. Now we're back to off. Eye relief at 1 power is 3.5 inches, and then if you move it up to 6, it's 3.3 inches, so there's not a lot of deviation between the two. Now the reticle system is definitely the big part of this scope, but one of the things about primary arms, they do have the lifetime warranty on them, the new Gen 3s. And one of the reasons why is because they just don't get any returns. One of the big advantages of a 1:6 optic on your go-to rifle is that you have that 1 power, which acts as a red dot. I mean, you're able to bring it up, you've got an illumination, or it's even etched on the reticle. So you don't have to worry about electronics. And yet you have that 6 power, so you can range it out. You know, really up close and personal, this gun just handles well. You know, up to like 25, 50 yards, even out to 100 yards. It's a very quick way to get on target. If you want to get targets out, even the 100 yards. Going out to 200. Even out to 300, which we're doing right here. I'm just kind of going through the different ranges with this optic, and it'll go well beyond that. But it's really easy out to 300 yards to get on target on a man-sized target with this reticle system. To me, it's the best of both worlds. You know, a lot of guys will put magnifiers on the back of a red dot, and you're changing the system, you're moving it around, it's hanging off the side. You know, I have a number of those systems on rifles, and they're effective. But to me, having this one body, you've got really good glass, you're able, again, just to get out and hit those targets. And even at 1 power, you still have a great reticle to be able to reach out to 300 yards. Now, Primary Arms does offer a free cantilever mount and free shipping. And of course, YouTube has now restricted our links that we can put down below in the description. If you go to Full 30, you'll be able to see those links on this same review, and you can click and go there and get your free mount. It's a nice mount. It works really well. If you want to upgrade it to one of the American Defense mounts or some of the others they offer, they will give you a discount on those as well. And guys, I want to thank Primary Arms for sending this scope for the test and evaluation and for their sponsorship. I have been shooting Primary Arms for a long time, and I'll tell you, it has never let me down. Lifetime warranty, etched reticle, you've got an illuminated reticle if you want to shoot in low light, and just an excellent scope, tough as nails. Highly recommend them. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. And this is, I can just stop there. I'll just stop there. Stop there. Stop it. Bullet drop. Okay. Okay, let's start all freaking over.
From the top.
The top, the very top. Let's rock and roll. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. I can't do it now. Don't be messing with me, man. I ain't got time for this. That's why I told you to wait to come down here. I know you hadn't. It's just funny. All right, here I am. Be strong. Be of good courage. God bless America. Those birds, man.
Long live the birds. Long live the sunlight.
It's right on.
Right on your forehead.
Hey, man, I've got the third eye going on here, baby.